You're watching or listening to Quiz Week on the Strangers in Space podcast. And in this edition, we are going to be playing Doctor Who Pointless, so you don't have to. Hi, I'm JR.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
I'm John.
I'm Mark.
You poor, poor sons. So I have decided for the anniversary, I mean, for anybody else watching this afterwards, for whenever, for posteriority, that we should do a week of quizzing in the style of various, I guess, BBC quizzes that they do on the television. In other words, they're quiz games as opposed to just questions and answers mostly. So they're all based around a format. The way we're going to do it, I don't have the technology that they do. I don't have the access to, people to ask questions of on the internet that they do. So I have adapted 5 quizzes so that we can do them in slightly different ways, but they're all basically the same thing. I think we should really just dive into this first one so people can see what we're doing. This is based on Pointless. Obviously, I didn't ask 100 people lots of questions, but what I have done instead is I've come up with 5 rounds, the answers to which are all numbers. And what I want you 3 to do, and I guess we'll do it alphabetically up the line and then reverse alphabetically back down the line in each of these rounds. What I want you to do is figure out the answer with the lowest numerical answer, right? So what you're looking for is the lowest number you can get. And of course, things aren't going to be quite as simple, but we'll get into that. In this first round, this is what I've called, and if I can call it up, here we go. This is what I've called Roman production codes. What I'm going to do,
God.
what I'm going to do is put the names of 4 stories in front of you, and what I'm not going to do is give you time enough to work it out. But what I do want you to do is choose the story which, when its production code is translated into Roman numerals, gives the lowest possible answer. Here's the first board, and Dylan, I will be coming to you first, and for the sake of the listener, I'm going to obviously read them out. The stories on the first board are The Ark, The Rescue, The Daleks' Master Plan, and The Seeds of Death. Dylan.
The Rescue?
Okay, Dylan says The Rescue. That has a production code of L, which translates as the number 50. Let's see how John and Mark do. John, you want to choose an answer?
I'm going for the Daleks' Master Plan.
The Daleks' Master Plan has a production code of V, which translates as the number 5. Mark.
This is tough.
So it's the Ark
I'm
with the
gonna
Seeds of Death.
I'm going to go with the Seeds of Death.
Okay, the Seeds of Death has a production code of XX, which equals 20. The
Damn it.
Ark would have been X, which would have equaled 10. John, you got the Daleks Master Plan. You got the lowest in that round, which means you got 3 points, but I'm giving 2 points to Mark for getting the Seeds of Death, and 1 point to Dylan for getting 50 points. The
Old
highest
school fan knowledge comes in handy.
You
The only time in my life it will ever do that.
You picked the highest one you could have there, Dylan. Right,
Yeah.
Coming back down though, we're going to go Mark first, then John, then Dylan. And here comes the second board. And on the second board, your stories are The Curse of Peladon, Marco Polo, The Smugglers, and The Tomb of the Cybermen. Mark.
Okay. Marco Polo?
Marco Polo has a production code of D, which equals 500 in Roman numerals. John.
That takes the pressure off a bit, doesn't it? Right, so we've got to see Kirkus, no. now halfway trying to work these out in my head.
Well, that's it. You're not supposed to work them out. You're
I know.
supposed to take a guess.
Well, I know one not to go for. I'll go for the Curse of Peladon.
Because of Peladon has a production code of MMM,
Oh,
which equals 3,000 in Roman numerals.
yeah.
And finally, Dylan.
I'm going to go Tomb of the Cybermen.
Tomb of the Cybermen is MM, which is 2,000. And the one which didn't get picked was the Smugglers, which was CC, which at 200 would have been the best possible answer.
Right.
But as Mark got the lowest answer of the three of you, despite the fact that the other two of
Against
you
all odds.
were convinced he hadn't, he gets 3 points. John, you get 1 point. Dylan, you get 2 points, which means at the end of that round, Dylan, you're on 3 points. John, you're on 4 points. And Mark, you're on 5 points. So Mark is the early leader. Okay. For the next round, we are going how many millions? What I'm going to do is put 4 episodes in front of you. And I want you to figure out which one got the lowest viewing figure of the 4 stories, 4 episodes in front of you. Here are your first batch of 4. And again, this is Dylan, then John, then Mark, and then back down the line for the second batch. Your first 4 are Inferno, Episode 7, The Android Invasion, Part 1, The Dead Planet, which is the first episode of the Daleks, and Time Lash, Part 2. Dylan, would you like to nominate an answer?
I'm going to go for the Dead Planet.
Okay. Dead Planet has a viewing figure of 6.9 million. John, would you like to take a guess?
I'm going to take Inferno 7.
Inferno 7 has a viewing figure of 5.5 million. And Mark?
Now, I have a feeling that Time Lash is a red herring, so I'm going to go with the Android Invasion.
The Android Invasion has a viewing figure of 11.9 million. Against Time Lash's 7.4. So Mark,
Because I knew it was higher than you
Yeah.
would maybe think.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
John, it was you that said Inferno, wasn't it?
yeah. I
So-
knew because it broadcast in the summer. So
Ooh. Right. Second board of 4. So round 2, board 2. Here we go. Now, the ones that you'll be guessing from this time are In the Forest of the Night, The Lodger, The Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos, which I was actually able to type up without having to refer to anywhere for spellings or remembering the words or anything like that. I just knew it. And Bad Wolf. So In the Forest of the Night, The Lodger, The Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos, and Bad Wolf. Mark, would you like to take a guess?
I'm going to go with In the Forest of the Night.
So In the Forest of the Night had a viewing figure of 6.92 million. John, your guess.
I'll take the Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos.
And the Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos had a viewing figure of 6.65 million. So Dylan, your guess.
I remember Bad Wolf not being as high as you would think. But I think it's got to be... I'm going the Lodger.
Bad Wolf, 6.81 million. The Lodger, 6.44 million. So Dylan, you're getting 3 points there.
Nice.
Who was it who said it?
Vicious round that one.
John, you were at the Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos, weren't you?
Yes.
So you got 2 points, and Mark 1 point. So at the end of that round, we have got... Well, Mark, you were in the lead. You're now coming up behind on 7 points. Dylan, you're on 8. John, now in the lead on 9. But there's not a huge amount in it, let's be honest.
Everything to play for, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I would definitely say. Right. In round 3, which I'm calling Pit the Youngster, what I'm going to do...
It's pit the youngster against the rest of us.
What I'm going to do is put the name of 4 actors in front of you, and I want you to tell me which of the actors has been alive the least long. In other words,
anyone got Toby Adoki's phone number?
so basically, you want to tell me which one you think was born the most recently. And your first batch of 4 actors are Richard Franklin, John Cain, who played Tommy in Planet of the Spiders, John Levine, and Gabriel Wolfe. So which one of those do you think was born most recently? Dylan, we're coming to you first.
It's a tough one. I am going to say John Levine.
John Levine was born on Christmas Eve in 1941, which makes him 81 years old. Or at least at the time I was writing these questions, which was a couple of weeks ago. So all answers are correct at the time of me writing the questions, by the way. John, what's your guess?
Oh, I think I know at least one of them's older, so I'm going to go with... I'll take a risk and go with John Cain, because I have no idea on his birthday.
John Cain was born on the 27th of October, 1945, making him 77 years old. And Mark, who are you going to guess?
See, I was going to go for John Cain. See, Gabriel Wolfe's dead. Richard Franklin's almost there now. But does that mean... mean one is older than the other? I don't know. I'll go...
It's just a most recently born is basically...
Sure, no, I know, but, people... Yes. I'm going to go Richard Franklin. Go for it.
Richard Franklin was born on the 15th of January 1936. He's 87. Gabriel Wolfe was born 90 years ago on the 2nd of October 1932. In fact, that was just turned 91 in this past week as we record. So that
alive,
means
then?
on the first board there...
I didn't think he was.
I thought he died.
Let's have a look. Let's do the Google.
See, I Googled him and it said he was still alive when I was writing the questions, but...
Fair enough.
But by the time this comes out, who knows?
All information correct at the time of recording.
Exactly. Right, so that means that John scored 3 points in that round, Dylan scored 2, and Mark scored 1. Now
Still alive, apparently. According to Wikipedia.
I thought
Why did
so.
I think he was dead? I think it's Stephen Thorne. I'm thinking the other great Doctor Who voice actor.
He only brought the gift of death to all humanity.
He didn't embody it quite so literally. Right, your second board of 4, and this time I'm starting with Mark. Billy Piper, Mianna Buring, who played Scooty in The Impossible Planet, Freema Agyeman, and Sophia Miles, who played Raynette in The Girl in the Fireplace. So Billy Piper, Mianna Buring, Freema Agyeman, and Sophia Miles. Mark.
God, that's tough. I'm gonna go Mianna Buring,
who was born on the 22nd of September 1979.
What?
She's 43 years old at the time of writing the questions. John.
Okay.
Just turned 44.
I know from pop knowledge and other stuff, I know that Dame Billy of the Powell Estate is younger, so I'm going to go with Dame Billy.
Who was born on the 22nd of September, same date, 1982 though, which put her at 40 years when I wrote this, 41 years now. And Dylan.
I'm going to go for Freema Agyeman, although I'm wondering now whether she just ages very gracefully.
Freema Agyeman was born on the 20th of March 1979, putting her at 44 years, and she is actually the oldest on this board. Sophia Miles, who was born on the 18th of March 1980, still 43 years old, would have been the youngest. So, at the end of that round...
It's because Sophia Miles has the political opinions of somebody a lot older than her.
Does she? I don't want to get into that. At the end of that round, Mark, you're on 10 points. Dylan, you're on 11 points. And John, as we all knew, starting to pull away, you're on 15 points. So now the next round is called Out of the Gate. And what I want you to tell me, I'm going to put a list of 4 Doctor Who series up on the board in front of you. I want you to tell me which one debuted the earliest in the calendar year.
Ooh.
So here comes your first board of 4. And so the 4 we have is Series 10, which was Peter Capaldi's last series. Series 11, which was Jodie Whittaker's first series. Series 5, which is Matt Smith's first series. And Series 3, which is David Tennant's middle. So that's Series 10, Series 11, Series 5, and Series 3. Dylan, I'm coming to you first.
I want to say it's Series 11.
Which, with a debut, as we record, on this date in 2018, is actually 7th of October. And that one was the red herring.
Oh, of course, yes. I was thinking all the other series started at the beginning of the year, but of course this one, yeah, I'm an idiot. What a fool.
Hey, we didn't need you to come here and tell us that you're an idiot. John, would you like to guess?
I know that 2 of them started after my birthdays. Choice. I'm picking between 2 here, and I'll go the wrong way on it. So I'll go with Series 5.
So Series 5 was the 3rd of April, 2010. Mark, I got to tell you, it's still all to play for because John did go the wrong way. But which one of the other 2 beats him?
See, I'm trying to remember where I was when I watched Smith and Jones and where I was when I watched the pilot. I think it's Series 10, although I may regret this in a minute.
You will regret it. It was Series 3. Series 3, if you remember, was the one which weirdly didn't start at Easter, but started a couple of weeks earlier.
Right.
If I remember rightly. Anyway, Series 3 is the 31st of March, 2007. Series 10 is the 15th of April. So, John, 3 points again for you there.
Obviously.
Mark, 2.
I've got the advantage of going in the middle here, so I get at least a second answer.
That's true. Coming back down the board, on the other hand, let us go for the second batch of series, which are Season 9, which is John Pertwee's 3rd, Season 6, which is the last Patrick Troughton, Season 14, should have said season with these, shouldn't I? Season 14, which is the 3rd Tom Baker one, and Season 19, which is Peter Davison's debut season. So that's Season 9, Season 6, Season 14, and Season 19. Mark, you're the first one to guess this time.
And it's the earliest calendar
Earliest
year
in the calendar year.
premiere date, right?
So you've got to be careful, because if it started in January, you're mint. But if it started at the end of December, like Season 11 did with the Time Warrior, you could be buggered. And obviously, the other 3 of us here don't want to watch you being buggered.
Well, that's good. I don't want to be buggered. Certainly not at 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon. That's more like an after dinner thing.
If you've been at Regenerations JR, you could have seen it. It's the entertainment.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Season 9. Although I'm now. No, I'm gonna go Season 9. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, and I'm going to take some of the peril out of this by telling you the date for this one, I'm afraid. Season 9.
So I've got no points.
Season 9 debuted on the 1st of January 1972. John.
In which case, Mark saved me choice. I know that the Davison series all started in January, so I'm going with Season 19.
4th of January 1982. Dylan.
I mean, my choice would have been 19, so I'm left with 6 and 9. I mean, I wasn't alive for any of these, so it's really difficult. So I've got no throwback, but let's go for season 6.
Season 6 was the 10th of August, 1968. And actually, of the two, you chose the better one because season 14 was the 4th of September, 1976. That was one where they moved back to the autumn again. And if you remember, the one after they moved back to the autumn again. So in the middle of Tom Baker's run, or at the start of Tom Baker's run, they changed from January starts to September starts. Right. I suppose at the end of that round, Dylan, you're on 13 points. Mark, up to 15 points. John, 20 points. We all knew it was going to happen, didn't we?
Wow.
Okay, we're up to this is the final round now, although it's not quite the last thing we're going to do. In the final round, which I've called Scrabble Dabble, I'm going to put the names of 4 stories in front of you, and I want you to tell me which one has the lowest Scrabble score, not including double word scores and such like. So just the letters. And the 4 stories I've put in front of you are Planet of the Daleks, Terror of the Autons, The Curse of Peladon, and The Ambassadors of Death. Dylan, would you like to go first?
I have no idea about Scrabble at all, but I'm going to choose the Ambassador's Twang of Death, surely.
The Ambassadors of Death, given that it's got so many more letters than the others, even though lots of those are like B's and D's and S's and A's and such like, scores 36 on a Scrabble board. John.
Planet of the Daleks. I have no idea.
Planet of the Daleks.
On a double word score, please.
Planet of the Daleks would score 30 on a Scrabble board. So, Mark. And just to go on. Terror of the Autons or The Curse of Peladon?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, they both got U's in it, so what does it matter? I'm gonna go The Curse of Peladon.
I tell you what, neither of them have got though is K's. K's score really high, and I'd avoid any word with the letter K in it, frankly. So, which one did you go for? The Curse of Peladon.
Curse of Peladon, yeah.
That scores 28 on a Scrabble board. Terror of the Autons scores 23 on a Scrabble board. But nevertheless, Mark, you picked the lowest one in that round. So now, the second board of 4 stories in this round, and the board reads thus: The Girl Who Waited, The 11th Hour, The God Complex, and The Doctor's Wife. Mark, the first to choose.
I think it's possibly the 11th Hour.
Now, the 11th Hour has a Scrabble score of 27 points. John, do you want to go next?
It's all quite nasty because they've all got nasty letters in there. Try for The Doctor's Wife.
Doctor's Wife has a Scrabble score of 26 points. And so, Dylan, would you like to make a choice?
I'm going to go The Girl Who Waited.
And the Girl Who Waited has a Scrabble score of 30 points. The God Complex would have been 31. So, John picked the best word in that round. Mark the second. And Dylan, once again, not so great. So, I mean, at the end of that round, Dylan, you're on 15 points. Mark, you're on 20 points. And John, you're on 25 points. But that could all change, because I like to keep a little bit of jeopardy going on. So here's a little bit of jeopardy right for the very end of this. And the jeopardy is thus. I've just put 3 words in front of you. One of those words is Cybermen, one of those words is Daleks, and one of those words is Master. And here's the funny thing. I did ask some people on the internet. I asked them if they would send me the first 7 stories by each of Cybermen, Daleks, and the Master that popped into their heads. And this included a couple of people who've worked on the actual program as well, by the way. In fact, several people who've worked on the program. So I have added together the numbers for all the stories that came back. I can't remember exactly how many people I asked. I think it was somewhere between 20 and 25 got back to me. There are pointless answers in each of those categories, and obviously the ones scoring like 15, 16, 19, 20 points in each of those categories. I'm going to ask each of you to make 3 guesses, and I'm going to jot down the numbers that you come up with. The one with the lowest score of the best one that they picked will get 3 points. The one with the second lowest score will get 2 points. The one with the lowest third lowest score will just get a point. But if any of you manage to find that all-important pointless answer, you'll score 11 points, which will basically give you a decent chance of winning. Now, I'm going to ask the person who's currently coming last to choose their subject first out of Cybermen, Daleks, and the Master. So, Dylan, which one of those do you think has given you the best chance of finding a pointless answer? Is it the Cybermen? Is it the Daleks, or is it the Master? Dylan.
I'm actually going for the Master.
Okay, out of the Cybermen, the Daleks and the Master. just to double check, we're going for the Master.
So, well, I'm a little bit confused then, because
so people were asked to name the first 7 stories that came into their head.
But ideally, like in Pointless, we're looking for one that isn't.
You're looking for the one that they didn't think of. So
okay.
Stories that didn't come up.
Now, so with the Master, are we including Missy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I still. So, are you going to give me a list of stories, or can I just pull one out?
No, just pull them out of your head.
Okay. And you want?
You must have seen Pointless. This is how.
Yeah, like years ago.
Pull them out of your head.
Dylan's a busy man. He's an Emmy Award winner. You don't get that by watching Pointless.
And he didn't win that Emmy for game shows.
That's it.
Right, Dylan, 3 Master stories then, and I'll give you the score that they came up with.
Okay. The Empress of Mars.
The Master. I don't know. It has to be a story where the Master takes a full part rather than just appears in a cameo. Yeah, no, it can't be cameo parts. Otherwise, you could have like the Space Museum or something for the Daleks. No, it has to be stories where they're properly taken apart.
Extremis.
So you sure you still don't want to go back to the Daleks, right?
All right, I'll go for the Daleks. Go on then.
Hang on.
What's going on?
Sorry,
give it an answer.
This is favoritism of the highest degree.
No. He's actually made a guess, so we're going to have to stick with it, right?
Yeah.
So Extremis.
Yeah.
Is a pointless answer.
Hey,
excellent.
Do you want to take 2 more guesses just for the sake of it?
Yeah, I would go the Time Monster.
The Time Monster actually scored 2 points, so only 2 people came up with that.
And I think I would also pick, in a similar vein, the Pyramid at the End of the World.
I know. Again, that's just like a cameo. So.
No, it's full part. It's just full part of the plot.
In the Pyramid.
Yes.
I haven't counted it in the list though. Do you want to pick another story? You've already got your pointless answer.
Richard Osman wouldn't do that.
Okay, then I'm going to go the King's Demons.
King's Demons was picked by 3 people. So that's
what's wrong with people?
There was another pointless answer for the Master, and that was the Power of the Doctor. Amazingly, nobody picked that one.
How bizarre.
So, Mark,
did you ask them before that went out? Is that what
no, this was only a few weeks ago. I think I did this about a month ago, something like a month ago.
Right.
Anyway, Mark, you've got Cybermen or Daleks. Which do you want to go for?
See, you keep getting somebody to go Daleks, which makes me think there's no pointless answer. But there must be. There's so many. There's so many Dalek
One of them's
stories.
got 3 pointless answers. One of them's got 2, and one of them's got 1. I'm not going to say which is which, but do you want to go for Cybermen or Daleks?
I don't trust you. But
I'm just trying to give a bit of
wrote
jeopardy to this. I mean, Dylan's already got a pointless answer.
Sure. All right, I'm going to go Cybermen. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of that?
Okay. Can you find
We already
this?
knew that Master had 2 pointless answers because you've already told us that.
Yeah.
Yes, Master had 2 pointless answers. Daleks had 3. Cybermen, there's just 1. But can you find it, Mark? Nominate your 3 stories.
Let's go. So, closing time.
So, closing time was picked by 1 person.
Did you ask Gareth Roberts? Is that why?
His good mate, Gareth Roberts.
All right,
Mark,
okay.
second choice.
Trying to think of like obscure. Because you wouldn't count. I take it you're not going to count A Good Man Goes to War.
No, that's just a
Yeah,
tiny
I mean they're
little
quite
cameo,
big
isn't it?
in that starting little bit, you know. But anyway, like really not very obvious Cybermen stories, which is probably just tying me in knots here.
It might not necessarily be a not very obvious Cybermen story, but just one that people didn't think of.
This is a risky strategy. Nightmare in Silver.
Nightmare in Silver was picked by 5 people.
Wow, 5
Yeah.
people with terrible choice.
That's the Cyberman
okay.
story that people want to forget rather than can forget.
That actually forget, yeah. Okay.
Come on.
The Wheel in I've said it now. The Wheel in Space. That was I already know I've made a mistake.
You have made a mistake. The Wheel in Space was picked out by 10 people. So that's actually quite a high scorer. So here we go then. So you've actually got a 1-point answer, which ain't bad, but you didn't get a pointless. John, can you find a pointless? You've got the Daleks.
What was the pointless Cyberman one?
Oh, sorry, the pointless Cyberman one. Sorry, yes, I should have said that. That was, in fact, the Next Doctor.
Oh, I was going to say the Next Doctor. I was like, nah, that's got Cybermen up the wazoo. Everybody's going to go for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what else only got 1 point, though? The Haunting of Villa Diodati, which is, I guess, a Cyberman
okay.
story. But also, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. Only 1 person nominated that.
I suppose it's the demographic you talk to as well, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. All
That
the
must
old
have
people.
something to do with it. So, John, 3 Dalek stories.
Okay, I'll try Daleks in Manhattan, the Evolution of the Daleks.
And that's chosen by 3 people.
Okay. Revolution of the Daleks.
Revolution of the Daleks was chosen by 2 people.
What is up with these people? Right.
What, choosing one of the most recent Dalek stories?
Yeah. Ridiculous. I don't expect him to know young people. Right. Oh, it's all on this, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hey.
it's the last one. And
Right.
here's the thing, John. If you find a pointless with this last answer, then you win the pointless part of this quiz week. But if you fail to find a pointless answer, then Dylan is today's victor.
Well, he's got a bigger mantelpiece. He's already got an Emmy on there. I haven't got room for any of that here.
Well, then you better find a pointless answer. It all rests on this final question.
It's Asylum of the Daleks.
That's a good shout.
Well, the 3 pointless answers. I mean, I shouldn't have said this. It
Yeah,
almost gave
go
it
with
away. Army of Ghosts and Doomsday was one of the 3 pointless answers.
Oh,
Into the Dalek.
I was
another one of the
thinking of that
pointless
one.
answers.
That was one of the 50-50 there.
And the 3rd
Okay.
pointless answer was Asylum of the Daleks.
Oh, sorry, Dylan.
So, John, you are today's winner. Dylan, you're today's runner-up. Mark, you came third. But still,
in
You
many
can call me
ways,
today's loser. It's fine. It's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm
Mark.
comfortable with that status.
It's Scottish. They tend to do a lot of losing. It's
Mark, in many ways, aren't we
All
all
right, Matt
losers?
Barber, calm down.
right. We will be back again tomorrow to play another stupid quiz. Until we do that, I was JR.
I was Dylan.
I was John.
I was a loser, apparently. I was Mark.
And we will speak again soon.